Karen, the self-proclaimed ruler of our HOA, always found new ways to impose her will on the neighborhood. She was notorious for meddling in everyone's affairs, from complaining about minor lawn discrepancies to creating issues over the slightest noise. But what she did to me was beyond the pale. I had a landing pad installed in my backyard, something I'd been planning for a while, but Karen clearly didn't understand the purpose behind it. I didn't just have it there for looks, it was meant for emergency evacuation flights in case of a disaster. My family and I lived in an area prone to wildfires and natural disasters, and having an evacuation route by air was one of the safety measures I'd put in place. One morning, I woke up to find a fresh coat of bright yellow paint splashed across my landing pad. There was Karen, standing in her yard, arms crossed, as if she had just completed a great public service. She had painted over the markings, declaring my eyesore to be an eyesore in her eyes. "It's just too much," she exclaimed when I confronted her, "you can't have that big helicopter pad here. It looks awful." I stood there, utterly speechless at her audacity. I explained that it was not just a decorative piece of land, but an essential part of our emergency preparedness plan. But Karen wasn't listening. In her mind, it was nothing more than an obstruction to her perfect neighborhood. She didn't care about the dangers we faced or why I had it there. She had made up her mind, and no amount of reasoning was going to change it. I wasn't about to let her ruin something so crucial. I called the local authorities and informed them of the situation. After making a few calls, I learned that Karen had overstepped her bounds. The landing pad was legally approved for emergency use and couldn't be tampered with, especially not by an HOA board member acting on her own. The next day, the authorities came by to inspect the situation, and I made sure Karen was aware of the legal ramifications of what she had done. As the officials examined the pad, Karen's face grew pale, and she could no longer hide the fact that she had made a huge mistake. In the end, Karen was forced to repaint the pad at her own expense and attend a mandatory HOA compliance seminar, where she would learn just how much her power didn't extend. From that day forward, Karen never once interfered with our property again. I had won not only the right to my landing pad but also a small victory over someone who thought they could control everyone around them. Sometimes, standing your ground is the best way to show that some boundaries are non-negotiable, especially when they're literally life-saving.